世界中の話題を集めた男デビッド・ボウイ36歳。詩を書き曲を作り歌うだけではなく俳優としても高い評価を勝ち得た。映画「戦場のメリークリスマス」の成功は彼の神秘的なまでもの魅力なくしてはありえなかった。デビッド・ボウイはその鋭い時代感覚で1983年の顔となった。
Then the loud sound it seemed to fade, came back like a slow voice on a wave of fade. That weren't no DJ, that was hazy cosmic jive. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come.
I think he's a wonderful singer. I think he's very talented.
There's a starman waiting in the sky.
I like his progressiveness. He's very progressive, and I like that.
Into his like transvestite style. But I like him now.
It tends to be that a lot of people see David Bowie as a trendsetter, and he has a lot of influence.
I think he's getting older and he's doing it gracefully.
The sensibility of the music should say everything. That's what rock and roll is all about.
音楽、芝居、ファッション、常に新しさが要求される世界で独自な想像をしてきた彼の鋭い感性は今何を見つめているのだろうか。テレビを拒否し続けていた彼が初めて日本からのインタビューに答えてくれた。
You certainly play various roles, transform from one persona to the others. Maybe before being accepted by the sort of institutionalized approved, you just move to the other, or you yourself getting tired of this role, or you are not stimulating it enough, for this. So you move. What was the reason?
Several factors. I was regarded as quite bizarre outsider when I first started in music. Not so much in England, who they feel comfortable with the eccentric, but the Americans, I feel, have a tougher time with it. They have a need to put it into some kind of, well, how do I define this? And I was working a lot with characters in the first sort of 10 years of what I was doing, and an album concept would revolve around one particular character, and then when I finished with that character, moved on to another album, I would sort of evolve another character.
Yes.
So I think I made my music itself started to become more accessible because there were no more characters, and I was presenting myself as myself. On the other side of that, new music became more popular. The kind of music that I had been writing was starting to be played by a lot of other bands, all in Japan and in England and in Germany.
Then, you were at you're 15 years old when you were once a student of Zen Buddhism, and the second time you shaved off your head. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and like every other teenager that I knew, I was experimenting and trying to find out about other ways of living. I felt a very strong empathy with Buddhism because of the nature of its transience.
Yes.
The continual change of things made quite good sense to me, and it made sense with the way I write.
Yes.
And it said, yes, that's right, there is no permanence, there is nothing that is permanent, everything is evolving all the time. And it just felt right.
Life is that, yes.
It became less of a religion to me as I grew older, and just a it became a point of reference. I still have a strong empathy with Buddhists and Buddhism, but not as a personal religion,
Yes, I know.
but as a statement of philosophy.
Yes.
I still feel that that's the nearest philosophy to the way I feel. So it's a source of strength to...
Yes, yes.
I don't get too
Source of energy,
disappointed
yes,
about
I know.
things because I expect things to go wrong and go right. Both.
Yes.
And things just do what they do.
Right, nothing stays
And
eternal.
you sort of steer a ship across that course.
What kind of child were you, being interested in Zen Buddhism like that? It's fascinating.
Kind of precocious. Precocious and insular. I like
In
to,
what sense?
I like to be the kid on the block that had found the new things first, and I would always read books that were maybe 2 or 3 years too old for me, and things like that. Not understanding half of them, but sort of to get there first and to find these new inroads into things. So it was sort of a flirtation with intellectualism when I was that young, and I hope it steadied out and just became a bit more rational after that. I guess I was kind of quiet. Actually saw kabuki and I became interested in the costuming and the theatrics, and therefore into the music. And so I developed a strong love of all the Japanese art forms. Much for what I was doing with Ziggy Stardust, who was like a rock deity. And his high platform boots. That was straight out of kabuki theatre. A lot of his clothes, the emphasis was sort of, I just changed some of the ideas from kabuki and put them into, I had the lion's red hair, was the Ziggy hair, and platform boots came from kabuki. And I used to have krokus as well, who would take all my props and costumes off.
But when you dress like women, you must, do you also feel...
Dress like a...
lady. Like
I don't recall having done that, only having done it for a promo film.
Oh, is that so? When you put on clothes like that, do you also feel very feminine, or how is it? Just...
No, I feel like a good actor.
Oh, no, of course, being a good actor. Do you think your view on bisexuality is changed?
I don't have a view. Everybody else seems to have views. I don't have a view. I just happened to be one when I was young.
Oh, I see. But you don't have any view at all now?
No, because it just becomes a press item. I can't possibly say anything serious about it, because all it becomes is a way for newspapers to sell it and boost their circulation, and that really doesn't interest me at all.
I think in your record, Let's Dance, in a video, in the Let's Dance, you try to pick up the social issue of white discriminating aborigines, these natives.
Yeah.
Do you have any plan in the future to pick up any of the social issue again?
People, I think, to accept that I am capable of doing painting and acting and writing music and performing, and my needs to direct, whatever, without seeming like a sort of running all over the place and not being serious about anything. So that the most positive things that I can do are in terms of some kinds of charity work. And things that mean a lot to me personally. I was brought up in an area of London called Brixton, which is primarily a black Jamaican area. And recently I've been able to do various things for the Brixton community because of the position I have now and my freedom in doing kinds of concerts and able to give the proceeds of concerts to neighbourhood funds or whatever. That's the small way that I'm sort of a second-rate German expressionist style. It's not very good, and not good enough for me to be able to support myself, give myself any kind of financial platform to work from. I wasn't making any money as a painter. I was very broke. But I also played tenor saxophone. And so I moved into bands, and I found that I could make a bit more money that way. And eventually, I found that my biggest fulfillment was writing my own material. And so I was able to be creative and support myself at the same time, which is an ideal world. So I was very lucky that way. precious thing that I seem to have is I've never had such great freedom as an artist to express myself and be accepted. I've never been accepted to the extent that I'm being accepted now.
Just for a short while to scratch
For some reason, this year has been momentous for me in those terms. I've never had so many people who have a genuine interest in what I do.
making up underwear. Poor little greenie.
And there have been so many bands, I guess, over the last few years that have been interested in what I've been doing and the way that I presented my material, that have kind of followed in a similar way.
So now you've been free and you've been accepted. Then looking at yourself, what do you think is the thing that you most don't wish to lose?
This freedom that I've just gained. I would hate to be in a position that I've seen with other artists that feel they have to conform to a certain image that the public have of them. And I think probably trapped. I would like very much to break out of it and do other things, but they're scared that if they do that, they'll lose their audience. With me, fortunately, it is now expected for me to change a lot, so I've been able to fight for my own freedom as well. So I don't feel as though I'll ever have to be trapped into a style of music, a style of performance, or a kind of a movie. Or so. But if I lost that, I think I would just stop working.
Is there anything that you think you fear inside? You know, any human being has fear, I think. But what do you think in your case, if there's any?
Turning up to an empty stadium at the moment.
I think maybe through your singing and concert, if you can bring people sort of harmonious feeling or something, you know, the hopeful outlook through your singing, I think it's a great contribution to the society.
I think, again, I'm very wary of for either myself and for generally for most rock singers to ever be seen as trying to educate people. I think that's improper.
No, you know,
and so I think it's better for me to be able to work within my own family circle, within my own relations with people.
Right.
And hopefully from that ripples spread. Well, it's rather like the Buddhist way of looking at things.
Exactly.
If you can correct this little area, then the waves from that move outwards.
Yes.
But again, to go on a platform for anything these days with the standard of media being so low at the moment, I think it just becomes another item of interest for a television program, for a newspaper, and quickly passed over to look at the football results. I mean, it's not, it doesn't have...
I think you're so right. So what is your view of Japan? I think you've experienced...
Like that. It's a country I've been to repeatedly over the last 12 years. I've spent a lot of time there. But my favourite way of staying in Japan is after a concert's over. I like to, when a tour's finished, and then I stay on for maybe 1-2 months. The most I've stayed is 3 months. I stayed 3 months one time after the tours.
Tokyo?
In Kyoto, yeah.
Really?
And I took the trains up and down. Not the bullet, the little rackety trains.
Is that so? And you like sort of Japanese style garden and classic?
Yes, I also like the modern Japanese as well. I like some of the new painters and photographers and some of the clothes people are quite interesting. Kansai, I like him.
Yes.
Kansai Yamamoto.
Yes.
Skita is a photographer, and I think they're very interesting.
I see. Well, I think
And Ryuichi, of course, is Ryuichi Sakamoto from Merry Christmas.
Yes.
I think his new music, his new solo music.
I've never seen him acting. That's the first time. It's very good.
Yeah, he's very stylized.
Yes. What is your sort of scenario, 21st century, looking ahead?
I don't think.
How do you view?
Because of the rate of progress, which is so fast now, technologically and intellectually and scientifically, things are moving at such a rapid pace. I think it's very impractical for any man to try and make some kind of vision of what the world's going to be like next month, let alone in the 21st century. I think we shall open up areas of discovery that we can't even envisage within 10 years. From education, health, science, space, industry, technology, it's too new. That's the big problem, is that probably a lot of the machinery and hardware that we're using is far too sophisticated for the intellectual capacities of the people who are operating, which is the scariest part.
And now, well, looking back, you know, something very sad in your life. Can you recall anything? Very depressing moment.
For me, saddest part would be not having spent enough time with my son when he was very, very young.
Ah, yeah.
Missing out those years, because I was continually on the road all the time. But that I'll always regret, I think,
I see.
for the first 3-4 years.
But you have a good communication
Oh,
with him.
one of them.
Yes. Does he resemble you, or very different child, do you think, comparing to your child?
What do you think? He does, yes. He's
He does, really? In what way? Huh?
a vagabond. Vagabond, bohemian.
Changes and face the strain. Changes. Don't wanna be a richer man. Changes and face the strain. Changes. It's gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. Ladies and gentlemen, on stage in London for the first time in over 5 years,
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I look forward very much to doing my tour in Japan.
Time is waiting to my